The University of Arizona, along with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, have conducted a study into rising sea levels. Now, of course, we all know that rising sea levels are attributed to climate change, but how bad has it gotten in the northeast of the United States? Well, the results of their study are scary to say the least. Sea levels across the northeast coast of the United States rose nearly 3.9 inches between 2009 and 2010. That's nearly 4 inches in 1 year, okay? If that doesn't scare you enough, there's more. The waters near Portland, Maine saw an even greater rise, 5 inches over the 2-year period.
Yeah, these numbers are so significant that I want to see more numbers. So I'm not ready to panic right now. First of all, we should have been panicked all along. I mean, the scientists have been saying the damage is going to be irreversible. We just, in the last hour, we did a clip about ISIS destroying ancient statues of Assyrians, etc., right? 3,500 years old. And it rips us up because there's nothing we can do about it. They're gone forever, right? But the planet suffering irreversible damage is also pretty bad.
Yeah.
You could argue a little worse.
Yeah, it's the worst thing that's happening right now. Terrorism is bad, economic situations bad, but nothing is worse than the damage that we're doing to this planet. And while most countries have come to a consensus on the issue and have basically agreed that this is a man-made thing that we really need to start to focus on, the United States, we're still having a stupid debate as to whether or not it's even existing, okay?
Yeah. So now, look, these are some reports out of the Northeast about the levels rising. And by the way, the scientists told us they would, and now they have measured that they have, right? But I still want to see more. I want to see how it develops over the next couple of years, because the rise is so dramatic that it's shocking.
Yeah, it's shocking, but I actually don't find it that shocking at all. I feel like scientists have been warning about a dramatic rise in sea levels for a really long time, and they said it was going to happen faster than we would expect, right? So let me give you some more details. So what they also found was that unlike storm surges, this event caused persistent and widespread coastal flooding, even without apparent weather processes. In terms of beach erosion, the impact of the 2009-2010 sea level rise event is almost as significant as some hurricane events.
Yeah. Now, when they say there was no weather event that precipitated the flood, that's problematic. When it doesn't even rain and it starts flooding, you got an issue.
And that's really the way climate change works. It's not like we're going to wake up one day and it's the apocalypse and the world no longer exists, right? Little by little, you're going to experience significant changes in our weather patterns, how extreme certain storms are, flooding in areas that typically don't see flooding at all. I mean, we're starting to really see the ramifications of what we've done to the planet. And keep in mind, there's a delay. I mean, a lot of the damage that we've done to the planet, we're not even experiencing yet. In the next few decades, it's going to get really, really bad. So they find that the increase in the Northeast was caused by a 30% slowdown in a major ocean current system known as AMOC. And it's a fluctuation in atmospheric pressure at the sea level, right? So I read about that and I'm like, well, what does that mean? Is that something that can be attributed to climate change? And yes, the scientists said absolutely. They have not experienced something this dramatic in hundreds of years. And it has to do with human behavior.
So Dave Kohler and I once were in Kentucky, and we're looking in West Virginia. I think this particular story, we were in West Virginia, and we were looking for hollers. If you're from that area, you know the hollers are between the mountains and people live there. And Dave kept saying, yeah, it looks like a holler, but it's not quite as poor as I remember from 10 years ago when I visited here. So I'm not sure this is the one we're looking for. So he pulls over a guy in overalls. Okay, I mean, right out of a movie, right? And he says, sir, do you know where the hollers are? And he says to Dave, son, you're in a holler. Okay? Son, we're in climate change. Look at the weather outside if you're in the Northeast. It's, don't believe the idiots and folks who go, you said global warming and we had an extreme event that was cold. No, climate change, you have extreme events like enormous snow in the Northeast. Yes, New York didn't get the snow, Boston did. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. Of course, the idiots at Fox News are like, oh, it didn't snow as bad as we thought where I live, so it must not have happened. It's happening. It's happening. We're in the middle of it. The droughts, the floods, the snowstorms, and now the sea level's rising, just
got-
like they said it would. Yeah.
But I do want to leave you guys with one final statistic that was found in this study that really blew me away. If greenhouse gas emissions from human activities are not curtailed, the panel projects seas to rise by an additional 11 to 21 inches by the middle of the century, by 18 to 39 inches by the 2080s, and by as much as 6 feet by the end of the century.
6 feet, that won't be a problem, will it?
Not a big deal at all. Yeah, Miami's gone.
Yeah.
I mean,
New York is
talked
gone
about
if it rises 6 feet. I mean, a lot of cities are gone. But don't worry, the Koch brothers will have left the planet a long time ago. So what do they give a shit that it explodes at the end of the century? New York's 6 feet underwater. Who cares? Enjoy the Koch facilities we built for the opera when it's underwater. Because they always brag about that. Oh, I do declare, we really bucked up Lincoln Center. It's now the Koch Center with ballet and opera while we're alive. But to your kids and grandkids, it'll be a nice underwater park for them.